Less than 1%. That's how many Native American pilots there are in the United States Air Force. Let that number sink in for a moment. Less than 1%. It's a shocking statistic, isn't it? It reflects a deep-rooted issue of representation and opportunity. We, the Native Americans, have a long and storied history with this land. We have defended it. We have cherished it. But when it comes to its skies, we are practically invisible. This lack of representation is not just a number. It's a stark reminder of the barriers that still stand before us. It speaks volumes about the dreams deferred and the potential left untapped. It's a call to action, a plea for change. We need more Native faces in the Air Force. Our voices need to be heard. Our stories need to be told. My name is John Redhawk. I am a Native American. I am also a pilot in the United States Air Force. Growing up on a reservation, the sky was my playground. I watched eagles soar effortlessly. I dreamed of one day touching the clouds. Becoming a pilot wasn't just a career choice for me. It was a way to break barriers. It was a way to make my ancestors proud. The journey, however, was far from easy. It was a constant battle against stereotypes and prejudices. I was often the only person of color in the room. I was met with skepticism, doubt, and sometimes even outright racism. But I pressed on. The spirit of my ancestors fueled my determination. I knew I had to succeed, not just for myself, but for every Native kid who dared to dream of flying. The lack of representation in the Air Force is a systemic problem. It's rooted in a history of discrimination and marginalization. Native Americans face unique challenges when it comes to education, economic opportunities, and access to resources. These challenges often make it incredibly difficult to even consider a career in aviation. The Air Force has made some strides in recent years to address diversity, but there's still a long way to go. We need more scholarships specifically for Native American youth. We need mentorship programs that connect aspiring pilots with experienced professionals. We need to actively dismantle the systemic barriers that prevent us from taking our rightful place in the skies. I remember once during my training, an instructor made a joke about Native Americans and casinos. Everyone else laughed, but I felt a pang in my chest. It was a small thing, a stupid joke, but it cut deep. It reminded me of the ignorance that still exists. It reminded me of the constant struggle to reconcile my two worlds, the world of my heritage and the world of the Air Force. Another time, I was asked to perform a traditional Native American dance for a cultural event at the base. I hesitated. I felt like I was being used as a token, an exotic exhibit. But then I realized something. This was an opportunity to share my culture, to educate others, to break down stereotypes. I danced that night with pride. I danced for my ancestors. I danced for a future where my children wouldn't have to face the same struggles. I realized early on that I had a platform. My position as one of the few Native American pilots gave me a voice, and I was determined to use it. I started speaking out about the lack of representation. I shared my story at schools and community events. I advocated for policies that would promote diversity and inclusion within the Air Force. It wasn't always easy. There were those who told me to stay silent, to focus on my job, but I knew I had to speak up. I had a responsibility to my community, to the next generation, and slowly, I started to see change happening. More people were listening, more conversations were starting, more Native American youth were considering a career in aviation. Diversity is not just a buzzword, it's essential for the strength and effectiveness of our Air Force. When we have pilots from diverse backgrounds, we have a wider range of perspectives. We have a better understanding of the world around us. We are better equipped to face the challenges of the 21st century. Imagine a sky where the roar of jet engines is a symphony of cultures. Imagine a future where Native American pilots are no longer a rarity, but a powerful force, soaring through the heavens. This is the future I'm fighting for. This is the future we all deserve. The journey towards a more inclusive Air Force is a collective one. It requires all of us to raise our voices, to challenge the status quo, to demand better. Educate yourselves about the challenges faced by Native Americans. Support organizations that are working to promote diversity in STEM fields. Contact your elected officials and urge them to prioritize policies that create equal opportunities for all. This is not just about Native Americans. This is about the soul of our nation. It's about creating a society where everyone, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to reach their full potential. Join me in this flight for change. Let's make the skies a little less empty, a little more representative of the beautiful diversity of our nation. Subscribe to my channel if you like this story. Leave a comment and tell me what you would like to hear. Let's work together to make a difference.